We're just going to go straight into the workout, and I put this voiceover for ease of reference, starting off with the lying leg curl with the band. So got the bench, got the band. It's important to set the band up quite low on the actual pole so that when you are curling your leg, the angle of which the band is coming from is putting greater tension on the muscle. Of course, you can move further away from the pole and that will add tension, but it'll also make it a lot more difficult for you to undertake the movement in a hole. So put the bench a fair distance away, but also not too far away, that it's challenging and for you able to complete the movement without cutting off circulation to your actual leg. The band itself goes on the back of the heel, and you're just driving back whilst flexing your toes forward. So I did that for about 3 sets, either leg, not resting in between alternating sides, but resting between those sets for about 1.5 minutes or about a minute. It's not too important, especially when you're doing like a banded exercise. If I'm being honest with myself, that form was terrible. So I'm going to drop the weight by 20-30% and make sure I'm going all the way down. So my knees were about here and my torso was here. So I was coming down, and you can probably see in the footage, you know, it was decent, but that's the good part about filming, right? So you get to see where you're going wrong. You can be lifting heavy and progressing on paper, but if you're not actually going down full range of motion, if you're not actually pushing yourself through that full range of motion and using the way it's intended, you're not going to be getting the results. So you might be asking why I wasn't wearing shoes for my squats. Well, it's because in runners, you have the sole and they're gonna get squished when you're using a heavy weight. You know, you can definitely go up and down and it will be fine, but if you're doing heavy squats, if you're doing anything heavy, over time you're gonna be ruining the amount of support you have on the sole of your shoe. Plus, you don't have any instability, you don't have any rocking or shaking or moving up and forward and back when you're doing a squat. You want to be perfectly balanced, and the soles of your feet are going to keep you well placed to maximize your strength, maximize your stability, and get the most out of the exercise. So that's why I don't wear shoes whenever I'm doing a heavy pressing movement. You don't have any imbalance, and you don't want to ruin a good pair of shoes either. So save your shoes for running, save your shoes for walking.